Hi, everybody. This is part two of our podcast, Be Heard. And I have Kendra. No, wait, is it Keldra or Kelly? Kendra, you have too many names. Keldra.
Cal, you got it.
Yeah, because we have
Elder.
pen names. We all have pen names. So Keldra Pindar, and she's the author of The Waters Have Come. And she has lived in the Bahamas, I think, her whole life. And she went through a very awful hurricane. I believe it was Dorian. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was very traumatic. And most of the women on our podcast have traumatic experiences that they have overcome. And a lot of us have written about them. So I am going to start with Kendra. I'm going to get it wrong every time. Keldra. I'm going to start with Keldra. I'm just going to call you Kelly. That's easier.
Kelly.
Yeah, because she goes by Kelly. And
Yes.
I'm going to let Kelly start and talk about how she came to write her book. You go ahead.
Hi. Sure. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to share my story because it had such an impact on my life. And so, given the opportunity, I'm always willing and ready to share about Hurricane Dorian that transpired in the Bahamas in 2019. Um, it was the most powerful storm recorded in modern history. We had winds off the scale. We had storm surges of over 30 feet. And my family and I, we witnessed the devastation brought in by this storm from the attic of our home. We were trapped for just over 36 hours and just waiting to be rescued. And, during that time, you have a lot of time to think. You have a lot of time to prioritize, what's truly important in life when you're faced with a life and death situation. And so, post Hurricane Dorian, not that I didn't live a very purposeful life before, but I think even after that, I really focused on what is it that I want to accomplish in this lifetime. And writing a book was very high up on my list because what I had experienced, it seemed like a movie. And I just was like, no, people, they need to see this. If I can write about it and paint the picture, I can definitely connect with people all over the world who need to know the devastation that hurricanes can impact and how lives can be lost. And basically just to, heighten people's awareness of what is happening and how we can perhaps overcome in the event, or how they can overcome in the event that they are faced with a similar situation.
Right. And how long did it take you to write the book?
So, Hurricane Dorian happened in August, early September. It was like a 3-day event. And I would have started writing in October
Okay.
of that same year. And by March of 2020, I was published, self-published.
Great. That's great. And you
So that's about
self-published.
6 months,
Right. And did
right?
you use Kindle Create to
I
self-publish?
did.
Yes.
I
Isn't
certainly
that a
did.
great, that's a great app, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's so
Yeah.
amazing. Once you take the time to embrace the process of writing, like we can learn to do so much on our own as opposed to, paying someone to do it. I had the time, I actually left my job because
Well,
I just felt so pressured to be in the classroom to show for the kids, but it was just this
you
weight of
wanted,
writing that was on
wanted
me,
to.
like I needed to get this story out.
Yes.
And so I resigned and I just, poured my
Put
entire
yourself
being
into it. Yeah.
into the process. And
Right.
so we learn a lot along the way about, copyright, finding your ISBN, um,
Yeah.
creating an ebook. It's a lot.
You're teaching yourself. People ask me, how did you do that? How did you like get it uploaded and get it published? And I told them it was like I was taking a lesson at the same time. I
Right,
had to teach myself. And I
right,
did talk to people that went the usual route of getting a literary agent and published. First of all, it cost them a lot of money.
right.
And second of all, they were expected to do a lot of their own marketing. Okay. So why should I, and it was just taking forever sending out these request letters. And you
Yes,
have to take a sample of your book. And then, they tell you, oh, it's wonderful, but it's not for us. So
exactly.
when I found about self publishing on Amazon, I thought, oh, this is great. And in the beginning, it's difficult because there's things you have to figure out how to do. It takes a
Right.
while, how to format and what print you're using and all that stuff. But what's good about it is they auto detect your chapters and they put everything in line for you. It's really great.
Mhm.
And so the first book came out and I sold quite a bit, and people loved that I had like bigger print. So I had tiny print, and not just older people, but younger people. And
For
also,
sure.
what happened was this is, you haven't done this yet, you might. Um, I found a website, BabbleCube, and they translate your book for free into different
Mhm.
languages. You just do a profit share with the narrator, okay?
Right.
So I had it translated into Italian. It's the Italian
And
one.
so amazing.
And you have the English one in front.
Yeah.
I know you're seeing the print backwards, but that's how it's that. That's that one. Okay.
Mhm.
And I also had it translated into Spanish. It's being finished up soon, and that was amazing that I could do that. And then I found enough. That was okay. I did say Babel Cube, so people can go
Right.
there. The
Right.
other one, the other thing is, I want people that say, "Oh, I like to listen to my books." Well, okay. I found another website, free,
Mhm.
ACX, and you can find someone to narrate your book for Audible, again on a profit share basis. So my first book is on Audible, and the second
Awesome.
one is going to be on Audible within a few weeks. Okay, so I do have a
Wow.
lot going on because I have a Spanish book being produced. I got this one going on onto Audible. My second book. The second book is Unearthing My Irish Roots, which I just
Mhm.
real quick. My father was adopted. He thought he was Italian. We grew up Italian. I did DNA. He was 100% Irish. Now that's
Mhm.
a big, big thing to come out. And the best part of it was they all came from County Mayo. I traced my relatives back to the 18th century and both
Wow.
sides of the family. And they all ended up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, or towns around there. Now that's,
Wow.
I found out he had a brother that lived 6 blocks away from us, and we never knew it. I found out
So,
friends I played with were cousins. So that's where that book came from. Now,
wow.
are you planning on writing another book?
Yes, I'm actually about 80%. I would say I'm just about 100% finished with the manuscript, but I have not started the editing process yet. So,
Mhm.
that takes a while because you need at least 5 goes at it. You need someone to read it for flow, someone to read it for the mechanics, and then, you just keep going at it. And so I'm there now. I'm
Okay,
at
good.
that
And
point.
do you have a title for the second book?
Tentatively, it's probably going to be called The Missing Among Us because it's a mystery,
Oh,
uh,
so it's not
tragic mystery, yes,
so it's
based
fiction.
on it's fiction,
Uh-huh.
with some life experiences, real life experiences throughout.
Sure,
So, and
that's great.
it's loosely based on the story of 5 missing boys that went missing back in 2003. And so
In
I'm
real life.
writing in real life.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay. Based on
real
true
life.
story. Okay,
Right.
that sounds very interesting.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's quite interesting.
And talking about editing, my first book, I self-edited, and I still missed a ton of stuff. So
We
I
do.
actually, what's great about Kindle Create and Amazon is you can go into your original draft or
Yes,
whatever you call it, and you could change things and you can
and
upload it
upload it.
again,
Yep,
and it's
just like that.
immediately corrected. So
Thank God.
yeah, but I always say, oh, I hope you didn't buy the first edition. I hope you bought the third one. I said,
Yes, I'm always apologizing because I even had to add a few little details a little bit
mhm.
later.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah, but it's a
that's
part of the process.
fine.
Yeah.
And where I'm leading with this is I have a very good friend from high school, and she she took writing courses and everything, and she had very good English background and vocabulary and grammar, etc. So, and flow,
Mhm.
like you talked about
Mhm.
flow. So when I was writing the second book, I said, Carol, can I send you a couple chapters as I finish them? She said, oh, I'd love it. I said, okay. She was going through chemotherapy at the time.
Wow.
And she told me, she ended up editing my whole book. And I said, Carol, you're going to have acknowledgement on the front leaf. You're going to be noted as editor. And she was
Mhm.
thrilled. And she told me it actually helped her when she was going
I
through
can
chemo.
imagine. Yeah.
She had that thing. So what I'm
Wow.
trying to do now is I'm going to research, because if they have a website for translating and one for narrating, maybe they have one for
There
editing
must be one
for
for
profit share.
editing.
So I'm
Yes.
going to look into that. But right now, she's my editor. She's working on
Yes.
my third book. I know. Once you start, you're hooked, right? Like
I'm
you said,
telling you. Yes, for sure.
you're
You
hooked.
know, and it's so amusing to me because usually it's the younger people that's teaching the older people about technology and what's available out there. But in this relationship, guys, it's the reverse. Like when I met Mimi on the cruise, we just sat for long after breakfast was over. Just, she was just giving me all of these tips and I was jotting them down. And, I checked it out once I got back home and a few of the sites checked out. But unfortunately, in the Bahamas, we don't always have access to
Oh,
certain programs. Yeah, we don't get it all.
really?
Like you told me about Vela,
Yeah, that's on Amazon.
Amazon, right?
You
But
should be able to
it's
get
not
that.
available in my country.
Oh,
Babel
that's
King,
awful.
yeah, a few things are not available to
That's
us.
terrible. I think that's awful.
Like,
But okay,
yeah,
all right. But that's just
so
the
I'm still
people.
learning.
We were supposed to get off the boat. We were waiting for our numbers to get called or whatever. And they probably had to drag us off that boat, because once we start talking,
Right.
we'd want to leave and exchange information, thank heaven, so we could keep in
Hmm.
touch. Um,
Hmm.
so here's the thing, it's like women through history, you have seen what they have gone through and what they had to fight for. Women, like Black people, were considered less than. They weren't
Right.
allowed to vote. Women weren't allowed to vote in the beginning. We didn't get to vote till like 1920s or something.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we were always seen as less than. And I talk to my friends and I say, yes, women, gays, Black people,
Hmm.
oh gosh, I forgot, there's another one, but we're all marginalized,
Right.
marginalized. And in the 60s and 70s, these groups fought. All three of those groups fought for their rights. We had civil rights, we had women's rights
Hmm.
fighting, we had gays, and people
Hmm.
got killed over it. Famous
Hmm.
gay leader got killed. You know, the women, they were ridiculed pretty much. Different things. But we fought for all these things and got some of them. And
Hmm.
now in the 21st century, I see those things being taken away. They're reversing, the right for women to have an abortion. They gave gays the right to marriage. Not only talking about America, you know,
Hmm. Right.
they're talking about taking it away. Black history, they don't want it taught in the schools. And
Right.
I'm appalled. I'm like, whoa, it's like a time machine. Like, why are we
Yes. The
going back 50
world is
years?
upside down.
It's scary. It is.
Hmm.
Did
Hmm.
you happen to see the show or read the book, The Handmaid's Tale
No,
by
I have heard about that book,
Ashcroft? Oh,
but I've never read it. I've never
absolutely
read
have
it.
to read it, because it basically talks about not the whole world, just the United States going backwards into a time where women are property. And
Hmm.
Margaret Atwood, that wrote the book, her most famous quote is, when you ask men why they are afraid of women, they say, we're afraid they might laugh at us. When you ask women why they are afraid of men, they say, we're afraid they might kill us.
Wow.
That's powerful. And
Uh,
she wrote this book, which it's it's on Hulu, I think, the
Okay.
series, but the book is out too.
Okay.
It's very powerful.
Um,
Powerful.
The Handmaid's Tale. Oh,
I have
I
to
just
put
took
a
note of
note.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So how are you doing with your sales of the first book? Did you see like a peak and then down and up there, whatever? How's
Yeah,
that going?
definitely. It was a very highly anticipated book. A lot of people were following Hurricane Dorian, and
Mhm,
I think I did a pretty good job of marketing it in the beginning. So as soon as it came out, people
mhm,
were just going to get it. All right,
mhm.
downloading it on
Yeah,
Kindle, and the reviews like instantly were so good. So it caught on. So my first few months was pretty good. A few $100. It doesn't sound like a lot, but
no,
to
but
a
it's nice. Yeah, yeah,
self-published
yeah, yeah.
that's like, hey, that's like a
Hmm.
million.
Yeah,
So the first few months were pretty good. And then once you kind of stop marketing, because you get a little tired, to be honest,
it's
then
hard.
the sales dip. But whenever
It's,
you do something like a podcast, an
mhm.
interview, yeah, people they go out and they get it again. So
Well, I had to file it on my income tax this year and last year because
right.
actually Amazon actually sent me that this is, I have to. So um, the first year, I think it was $1,200 in royalties, which again doesn't sound like a lot, but I know writers that haven't made a penny. But I
That's right. I
market it.
think I was about there too. When
Yeah,
I checked my bookshelf, you can go on Kindle. So,
yes,
I mean,
yes.
it is so cool, KDP, what Amazon has offered. I mean, everything is just set up for you.
ADP,
I
yeah.
mean, the royalties aren't a lot, but at this point, we're not doing anything for it. So,
I'm not doing, and I don't know about you, but I really am not doing it for the money.
right, right.
My point and yours is to get the message out that you want to get out. And the other thing else, I give you a tip right now. Here's another one of those tips. I found on Facebook, now I have 4,000 followers on my named page under my name. Okay. And
Mhm.
I only have 500. I have a page for the book. Okay.
Okay,
Well, I shouldn't say only 500. That's not that bad. But
pretty good.
I was sent a little tip. Facebook tries to help you too at marketing, free marketing tips. And they said, your your views have gone up 51% in the last week, right? And they said,
Mm-hmm,
post something every day, even if it's a quote. And
mm-hmm.
that's how you get the views. And when I start doing that, it went up even more and
Nice.
sales went up. So that's a tip right there. So
Yeah.
I
Consistent.
like also that Facebook, when you post, will post it to Instagram
Mm-hmm,
immediately too. So you're getting on
mm-hmm.
those two. And I don't like Twitter, but I just I'll put this podcast up on Twitter and things like that. But yeah, you got to do the work. You,
You
you know.
definitely have to work it.
And I did a couple speaking engagements and a couple book signings. And
Right.
the first book signing was in Scranton, and that was good. I was visiting Scranton. I got a coffee shop to host it, which they'll do for free because they're going to get all these customers.
Right.
I probably had 80 people that day come in, and they already
Mm-hmm.
had the book. And if they didn't, I had about 10 copies with me because I was traveling. I'm not going to.
Mm-hmm.
But then if I go back again to visit, I'm going to do a coffee shop in this other town close to Scranton
Okay.
called Dunmore, and that's going to be for this book because a
Okay.
lot of the Irish settled there, and they have their website for that town, and they know about this book, and
Wow.
I think a lot of people will turn out,
Wow.
yeah. And in the future, um, just do what you're doing. I can't wait to read your notebook. I'm sure it's going to be excellent. And I know about working titles.
Hard.
Yeah, and you got to come up with a title that you're really happy with, and that usually doesn't happen till you're completely done with the book and
For
editing it.
sure.
And then you look at it again and think about the title. And my third book, I started off with, I think I went through two titles, and then the third
Mhm.
one came to me, The Relentless Quest for Serenity.
Wow.
That struck a chord. So that's
Wow.
going to be a book of essays.
Okay.
on character strengths that you need for your journey, and some of the defects that you have to deal with. So I'm hoping that's going to be good. Well, our
Wow.
time is running out, believe it or not. And
Wow. Yeah, that went
that's why they
quickly.
kicked us off the boat.
Oh, we could talk
I
all
know we
day.
found that out when we met.
Yes. But it's
Well,
so
thank
important how
you.
we're talking about titles. I
Yes,
have to remember to, keep jotting down the ideas because we forget things from time to time, or even as we're writing the content for our books, we
yeah,
have to keep like a notebook or, just something handy to,
yes.
keep the ideas
I
because
do it
we
on my
forget them.
phone. We have
I do it
notes
on
on
my
our
phone as
phone. I
well.
start doing
Yes,
that a lot more because I'll
yes,
be somewhere and I don't have, I might have a pen and no paper or whatever. And I think, well, you have notes on your phone already. So
exactly.
I had to come into the 21st century, trust me, because I'm 74 years old. And
Wow.
I know I passed with
I'm
30.
learning. I'm learning.
Well,
I'm a
thank you for coming. Show your
74-year-old.
book. Show your book.
Thank you.
There you
So
go.
go
The
get a
water
copy.
has,
You will not be disappointed. I'm
no,
connecting with people from all over the world who
right.
are just amazed by the
Yes,
story. So,
yes. So go
mhm.
on Amazon. Well, my thing, I'm on iTunes, Audible, Amazon, and Barnes and Noble. And like, if you're not even going to buy the book, at least read a sample. Most of them have the
Yes,
sample. And once you read the sample, you'll want to read the book. And once you buy the
sir.
book, please leave a review.
Amen. Please. Yes.
We need that
That
as a,
helps us.
yes. Thank you so much for coming today. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you.
We'll do this again. All right.
Yes.
Stay well.
Okay.
Bye now.